Hello, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is the day that you are watching this, either live broadcast or the replay. Really glad you're here. We're going to be doing 30 minutes of basic workouts. Now let's really challenge ourselves today to make some improvements in our coordination, our balance, and our strength. So let's get started right away, down on the floor. And all the way onto your back, with the knees bent and your feet away from each other, maybe toward the edges of the mat, and your arms out directly away from the shoulders with the palms facing up. If you feel that's uncomfortable, then you can turn the palms down and bring the hands closer to your body. And then from here, let the eyes come closed. And let's briefly remind ourselves of the importance of mental awareness, being aware of the way that we move our bodies. Tuning the mind into what we're doing and turning off that cell phone and getting rid of distractions that are not useful for us as we take care of our bodies. Long, deep breathing will help to slow down the mind. Long inhale, longer exhale. Long inhale, longer exhale. We slowly heel toe the feet together. Feet come close together. Knees are close together. Lift your feet off the ground. Wrap the hands around the knees. Pull the knees toward your chest. And release your hands. Let your feet come back to the ground. Drop your knees to the right. Drop your knees to the left. Back to center. Wrap your hands around the knees again. Pull in. Extend your feet straight up toward the ceiling. Pull your toes down. Feel the stretch in your calves. Point the toes toward the ceiling. Open the legs wide, straddle stretch. Feel the stretch to the insides of your legs. Draw your legs back together. Bend your knees. Let your feet come onto the ground. Stretch your legs out. Sweep your hands behind your head. Lengthen through your entire body. Make yourself 10 feet tall, stretching and reaching. Bend up your knees. Wrap the arms around the knees and squeeze in. Place one hand onto each knee and move your knees wide apart. Make sure your feet are wide apart as well. Sometimes the feet will stay in closer to each other than the knees. So open those feet out just as wide as the knees. Continue to focus on that slow, even breath. And then draw the knees back together and extend your feet up toward the ceiling. Hold on to the backs of your legs and make some ankle, foot, and toe movements. Circles, pointing and flexing. Side to side movements. Spreading the toes. Be vigorous with these movements. Make your feet work. And then release, bend the knees, let the feet come onto the ground, and rock yourself or roll yourself up, upright, seated position. Nice start, everybody. You can grab that yoga block and put it underneath you if this seated position is difficult. We're going to move the feet forward of the hips in the cross-legged position. So the feet are not tucked in close to the body. The feet are moved out away. You probably can't see that too well with me, but my feet are clear out away from the hips. And from here, we start our circles. And because our feet are far away from us, You should feel a pretty solid base here with your feet, the sides of the feet into the ground, and of course your sit bones into the ground as we make these circles. Now, oftentimes I'll see people making these circles like this, where there's really not a lot of movement, especially in the hips. So what I'd like for you to do is see if you can really enhance this movement, even letting the opposite side sit bone come away from the ground. And if you even tipped over, who cares? Just really explore how big you can make these circles. It really is a whole body type of movement. Your core is active, your upper body is moving, your hips are getting stretched. Reverse the direction. And then back to center. Hold on to the knees. And then lift and lengthen through the spine. Now, if your back is quite rounded here, I'm going to invite you to uncross your feet and move your feet out away from you, out in front with the knees still bent. Whatever you can do to get that spine to be really straight. Now, either cross-legged or feet separated, either way is fine. Get as tall as you can, raise the hands up overhead. Look up to the hands and release the hands back to the knees. Round the spine and tuck the chin, look toward your belly, and then lift up, lengthen up, reach the hands up overhead. Release the hands down to the knees, round the spine and tuck the chin. And then release and come up and move yourself into tabletop. Hands and knees. Moving right along here, rounding and arcing the spine. The fingers are spread. The hands are gripping your mat. Your forearms should be active. So you are weight bearing in this position. You're pushing the hands, knees, and feet into the ground. Keep going. Oftentimes I'll see the feet not really connected into the ground here with this cow-cat movement. So push the feet into the ground. Push your hands into the ground. Find that full movement all the way through the spine. And then release back to neutral spine position. Curl the toes under. Get those hands strong into the ground. Lift your hips up into your downward facing dog. We'll be here just a short time. Bend and straighten the legs. One leg bends, the other one straightens. Should be getting a little additional stretch in the backs of your legs. And lower the knees back to the ground. Push the tops of your feet into the floor, raise your hands up high. So we're up or off the floor. So we're up in this kneeling position. Once again, push the feet into the ground, raise the hands up overhead. This time we're going to interlace the fingers and flip the palms toward the ceiling. Now push up, look up, squeeze your glutes, arc the spine a little, breathe. And then look forward and bring your hands behind your head and open the elbows wide. Once again, pull the belly in, squeeze your glutes, look up. Look forward, bring the elbows together, and then look toward the ground, pointing your elbows toward your mat. Inhale, open out, elbows wide, look up. And elbows in, around the spine, look down. One more time, open out, look up. And elbows in, look down. And then release your hands, roll the shoulders, big, full shoulder movements. Reverse the direction. And then release and come on up to standing. All right, everybody, good job. Nice little warm up there, plus some active flexibility types of movements. Let's get into the topic of the day here, which is strength, coordination, balance. So you're in the middle of your mat. Your feet are relatively close together. We're going to start with very simple high knee movements in slow motion. Now, this is kind of a warm-up. I'm going somewhere with this, so bear with me here. I want you to practice getting your knees lifted as high as you can. Now, even with this exercise, you might feel like you're moving around a little bit, and that's okay if you are. But can you work on getting your feet to come down in the exact same place every time? There's a tendency to kind of drift forward a little like I am here when you do these high knees. So look at where your feet are and try to keep them right in place as best as you can, getting these knees up high. Now we're going to do a couple things with this exercise. The first thing is, now that we've got it, we're going to increase the pace. I want you to try to keep your knees just as high, but go a little faster. Now, smile. You're hopefully staying relatively in place. If you're drifting a little, that's okay, but just try to stay in place and get those knees high, and we're going to pick up the pace. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and rest. Good. Split the feet out just a little bit wider. Deep breath in, reach the hands up high. Look all the way up, stretch it out. Reach the hands down to the knees, or hands to the shins, or hands to the ankles, dropping all the way down. And then rise back up, reach the hands up high, lower the hands down. The reason I give you those options is if your back doesn't feel great, you might only want to come down to here. That's fine. Otherwise, let's go down again. Hands to knees, shins, or ankles. Drop your head and come back up. Reach the hands up high, lower the hands down. Take your right arm, reach it way up and over. Look up, and other side, look up. One more time, reach, and release. Back to our center position, and back to those high knees. This time, feet are close together. We're going to hold to work on balance and coordination. So hold the knee up for 1 instant and back down. Left foot, knee lifts, hold, and down. Go at that pace. Right foot, lift, hold, and down. Left foot, lift, hold, and down. Now we're going to do it a couple more times. And then we're going to change up our focus here. Last one. Good, and back down. Now, it's the exact same exercise, but I want you to focus on the support leg. So let's lift the right foot up. You're going to contract tight through the support leg. Squeeze the muscles of the front of the leg, the glute, the abs. Squeeze tight, lower down. Left foot lifts, right leg squeezes. Find the contraction, then lower. Right foot up, left leg contracts, lower down. Keep going. Left foot up, right leg contracts. Feel it and lower down. I like to put my hands on my body, tap. Feel the muscles contracting. Lift, contract, and down. Lift, contract, and down. So we're finding this strength to support our balance. And I noticed that I drifted forward just a little. I felt it on my feet. Let's go one more time. Excellent. All right. Come to wall space, or a chair with a high back would work fine as well. This is an exercise we did on Saturday with our ankle weights. We're going to obviously do it without ankle weights today. Still very, very effective. Your outside leg is going to reach straight back. Your chest leans forward. Your outside hand reaches toward the ground. Now come back up. The knee comes in front and the arm raises up. And then reach the leg behind. The hand comes toward the ground. And then hand up, knee up. Now try to find as much length as you can. Reach that leg as far back as possible. And then reach the hand up as high as possible. And the knee up as high as possible. Three more. Squeeze tight at the top. Last one. And release, switch sides. Outside leg reaches back. Outside hand reaches toward the ground. Hand reaches up toward the ceiling as the knee lifts high. Keep going. Feel your arm and your leg staying lengthened and stretched out. Keep breathing. 3 more. Use your belly. Use your hips. Pull that belly in tight, especially at the top. Tight, tight, tight. And release. Awesome, everybody. So you can feel, you can see that coordination, that strength that we're working on. All right, speaking of coordination, we're going to start to move across your mat, crossing your feet. Now, as I mentioned in some of my emails recently, we want to practice picking the feet up. So as you do this, exaggerate a little bit. Make sure those feet are picking up off the ground and just move them around in crazy ways. You step back a little further, step across, step in front. I just want you to move your feet around. Okay, keep going. Now, come to one end of your mat, turn away from the mat and walk backwards. Pick your feet up, turn, and walk backwards, picking your feet up. Now, obviously, make sure you're not going to run into something. But once you have your space configured, then focus on getting those feet up off the ground. And if you feel like you're able to safely pick up your pace, make your steps faster. We're not used to this, right? Reprogramming the brain here. Okay, back to center and back to your wall. We're going to really keep things moving here. So feet start relatively close together, separated just by an inch or two. The outside leg extends straight forward. If I turn for a second, you can see I'm doing this right here. So the leg is up partially. We're not trying to get it up too high. Now your support leg bends and straightens. If this hurts the knee, make a 1-inch movement, 1 inch only, little baby pulses. If it does not hurt your knee, then go 2 or 3 inches. It's hard to go much lower than that. I want you to keep your back straight and the lifted legs straight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Switch legs. You don't have to turn this time unless you want to. Other leg lifts, and then bend, straighten, bend, straighten. Again, if you feel any injury, any pain, make little baby pulses. It's not important to get low. Keep that back straight and the lifted leg straight. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Shake it out. All right. Now, next exercise. We're going to, actually, let's do this first. Take your legs wide, straddle position, lower down until you feel a stretch in your hamstrings. So if that's halfway down, that's fine. If you need to go lower to get a stretch, do that. And then slowly come back up. Again, lower down until you feel your stretch. And come back up. Last one. And come back up. This is a little bit of prep work, a little bit of stretch work for our next exercise. Now, this next one Either bring your hands down onto the upper knees or your hands to the floor if you can easily get there. You're going to move side to side. So if your hands are up on the knees, it looks like this. If your hands are down on the ground, do it that way. You can even move your hands a little if you like. Make sure those feet are wide because we want the knees to stay inside of the ankles. If your feet are narrow, your knees are going to tend to go outside of the ankles. We don't want that. Okay, back to center. Work yourself up. Reach the hands up high. Lower the hands down. Walk the feet in. Bring your feet close together. Tall posture. Reach the hands up high. Lower the hands down. So this next exercise, we are going to do single leg balance with dynamic movement. So it looks like this. Right foot lifts. You move around. Arms and leg. Move around. Go ahead if you haven't started and just move it around. And if your foot touches the floor, no problem. In fact, that's good because that means you've challenged yourself. So if you let the foot come onto the ground, fine. Stick with the same side here. Maybe try lifting the knee in front. Good. And switch sides. So a lot of strength required in that support leg. Other side. Move as freely as you can. Now, if you find you're tapping down all the time, that's okay too. Don't be hard on yourself if that's the case. I'm much less stable on my left foot, so I'm going to tap down quite a bit more on this side, but you're still benefiting. Remember to challenge yourself. It's not bad to tap down. All right. Awesome. Great. Moving on. We're doing a lot of really cool stuff here. Let's come down to a lunge position. So you're going to come down into this position here with your left foot forward. And use a knee pad if you need to. I've got double mats here, so I've got plenty of cushioning for my knee, but I don't want you to be miserable here. Now walk your front foot a couple of inches in front of the knee like I have it here. Place your hands on the front knee, lean into the front knee, and push back. Lean forward and push back. Now we're working on a couple things here. Balance isn't a big deal, although you might feel a little wobbly. But we're really working on strength and mobility. So as you come forward, hold for a moment, feel the weight bearing into that front leg, feel the stretch on the hip flexor of the back leg right here, and now push back. Come forward, hold, weight bear into that front foot, and push back. One more time, forward, hold, push back, and any way you can, switch legs. Once you're there, foot is in front of the knee a bit, hands on the front knee. Go a couple of times, just kind of moving in and out. Get the hips ready to hold it a little bit longer. Okay, when you're ready, come into the position, forward position, and hold. Weight bear strong into that front leg. And then push back and push forward. Push back and push forward. So you should be able to really feel the strength work in that front leg, not only when you're leaning forward and holding it, but then when you push back, a lot of strength there as well. Let's do it one more time. Forward, hold, and push back. Awesome. Switch out your legs, back to the first side, left foot in front. Right, this time, hands on the front knee. We're going to add a little balance element here. So scoot the front foot forward, lean into the front foot. Now shift back. The goal is to get the leg to go straight and the toes to come off the ground. It's going to be a little wobbly. It looks like this. So the front leg is straight. The toes are off the ground. Now plant the foot, lean forward, straighten it back, toes up off the ground. If this is easy for you, do it with the hands overhead. Forward, lean back, toes off the ground, find that balance. Forward and back. Forward and back. Last time. Good. And release and switch sides any way you can. So get that foot forward of the knee. Lean forward. You're shifting back. The toes come off the ground. Find the balance. And then plant the foot and move forward. If you want to do it with the hands up off or up toward the ceiling, you're welcome to. Or if it's hard enough, then just keep the hands on the front knee. We're not holding here. You're moving in and out because this is more about our balance. Last one. Good. Lower the hands down and come back up to standing. Nice job, everybody. Some good, fun exercises here for our balance. Bring your feet close together. Right foot steps forward 1 foot length. Now you have your options here. Easier option, step the foot a little wider. Middle challenge, feet are slightly offset. Ultimate challenge, feet are stacked. That's going to be pretty challenging, but you can try it if you like. I'm going to offset just slightly. Arms up, lengthen up nice and tall. Turn your head toward the right. See if you can see your thumb. Turn center. Look to the left. See if you can see your thumb. Back to center. Raise the hands up. Try to look up any amount. And release. And switch out your feet. So give yourself the amount of offset that you need to be successful. Arms up. Lengthen up and tall. Squeeze your lower body muscles tight. Look to the left. Look to the right. Back to center. Arms up. Look up. Breathe. Lower the arms down. And relax the feet. All right, another time through. This time we're going to try it with the eyes closed. Definitely will be harder. You might want to give yourself just a little more offset. So before you start, really feel those feet into the ground. Then arms up. Now try closing your eyes. If it feels super wobbly, bring the feet a little further apart. Turn your head toward the left, toward the right. And to the left. Ooh, it's a little wobbly. Back to center. Arms up. Look up. The eyes are still closed if you can. And gazing forward, open the eyes. Oh, I almost made it. I fell at the very last second. All right, last one. So give yourself the amount of offset you need in order to give yourself a success. Don't make it too crazy hard. Arms up. Eyes closed. Now feel your feet before you start. Find that balance first. Then turn your head toward the left. and toward the right. Back to center, arms up. Look up, keep breathing. Look forward. Lower the arms down. Open your eyes and come on out. All right, so keep in mind, did you notice how much your body was searching for the balance with your eyes closed? It's pretty obvious, right? You're feeling like your legs are moving all over, your ankles are moving all over. That is your proprioceptive system working without your vision, and it's not used to it. So that's why it's going to feel very wobbly, but this is really helpful. As I mentioned in an email, your visual system needs light, but if you don't have as much light, then you need to rely more on your proprioceptive system. So these kinds of balance exercises are super helpful because they improve the proprioceptive system without the use of the vision. So that's why we do stuff like that. Okay, so let's finish up. Be just a little wider than the hips. Reach those hands up high, and then reach down to the ankles. Come back up, reach up high. Lower the arms halfway down. Twist to the right. Look all the way around behind. Twist to the left. Look all the way back behind. Back to center. Arms up. Side bend right. Side bend left. Back to center. One last time. Reach down to the ankles. Come back up. Arms overhead. Look up. Stretch it out. Get as tall as you can. And release. All right, everybody. We are all done. 30 minutes. We got a ton of great stuff going on today. And I'm glad you joined me. I'll look forward to seeing you next time. Take care, everybody. Bye for now.